Welcome, Kay. Thank you so much, Kay, for having me today.
Absolutely. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. To your audience, I'm Shaina Glass, and I am with the Computer Science Teachers Association, which is the largest CS department of educators in the world. So,
I did not know that.
yeah, close to 20,000 members.
Holy cow.
Holy cow.
And where is this located?
All over the country.
Okay. But you are specifically from
Texas. I'm from Houston. I live in Houston.
Got it. Okay. All right.
And I am the Senior Professional Learning Manager for CSTA,
Okay.
which is over several different programs and supporting our a couple of different initiatives and projects. I also happen to be currently the president of CSTA Greater Houston, which is a voluntary gig, but
Okay.
it is supporting teachers locally in my area, giving back to the community, supporting professional learning that happens right in our area.
Okay. Well, thank you for doing that. I had no idea that even existed. Now, I'm going to be upfront with you. When I think of computer science and when some other people who might be watching or listening think of computer science, they think of taking apart a computer, looking at the hard drive. This is a hard drive. This is an SSD hard drive. This is an M.2 hard drive. This is the RAM and what makes the computer kind of go, and the processor's the brain. What are some of those myths that maybe some people have about computer science versus what it really is?
All of what you just said. Real talk. All of what you just said is not computer science.
Okay. Define it.
Here in Texas, you would consider what you just said a part of like computer systems or technology applications. That was old school technology applications, which is still a part of our TEKS, right?
Yeah.
So students learn how
Middle
to take
school
apart a
TEKS,
computer.
all that good stuff, yeah?
Yeah, even elementary TEKS, like understanding, like think
Peripherals.
the keyboard, the mouse, the monitor, understanding parts of a computer.
Yeah.
But computer science actually is dealing with what makes a computer run. It is programming. It is how we get something to do something for us.
Okay.
So you have to tell it what to do
In its own native language.
in its own native. And there's multiple
languages.
Exactly. There's multiple languages. In schools, we teach students various languages. They start off with, a lot of people know Blockly. That's just the little blocks that, show kids how to create algorithms.
Yeah, the visual blocks.
Yes, the
You
visual
move them
block.
around.
And
if
it can
then,
actually be physical blocks. And as young as our kindergartens or pre-kindergartners, they use paper or they use like actual
manipulatives.
blocks. Yeah, manipulatives.
Okay.
But they actually have verbiage on them. So like it'll tell them when you place them in places, you are telling it to do something. Then they branch off and they grow up a little bit and go into Python or learning HTML or Java, which are different programming languages.
Python, what would you say is the, I hate to use this word. I'm not a fan of the word easy because easy is defined by different people in different ways.
Very much so.
What is the lowest path of resistance programming language for students to learn?
Python. It's not necessarily that it's easy or the easiest for students to learn, but it's visual.
Okay.
So, like, for instance, one content provider, CMU, which is Carnegie Mellon University, they have curriculum, and their curriculum started off based in Python. And it's using graphics, and students are visual. So they actually program how to build the different visuals, how to build art, how to build logos, things that they enjoy doing. It makes it very simple.
Okay. All right. You talked about elementary and the things that they're learning and doing in elementary. When you start getting to middle school, I support a middle school and a high school. They're doing programming. They're writing their own apps and making the computer. And actually, some of them are having conversations with the computer via I can't think of that box, like the command lines and stuff. So they're doing some complex stuff that I, as an adult learned and maybe already forgotten because I don't use it all the time. But I mean, we talk about computers and programming and that are the future. No, they're the present. And they were the future in the past, and they are currently the present, and it's just getting more and more, I don't want to use the word complex, but the computers and programming are able to do a lot more than they were just 10, 15 years ago.
Very well stated. It is the
Why,
past. I mean, cause what you said is legitimately what it is. It is the past for the future.
Heard it right here, ladies and gentlemen. Come on. Can't deny that.
It is. It's the past for the future. And it's been around for a number of years. I'm thinking, I'm not going to date myself, but I'm thinking back to when we had the Macs in the classroom. You remember the bubble Macs, and how we used DOS. You know, like there was different things, like you had to pull up the computer. In order to pull it up, you had to enter DOS first.
Yeah.
Right? Like, okay, did we not know that we were actually telling a computer to do something? That's just a simplified variation of it. But now we teach even the youngest of students, and teachers, how you can look at computer science simplistically from what you already do in your classroom. For instance, I remember, not again dating myself, but I've been doing this for a while. I know, right? but teaching teachers how to provide students with examples of how to program by programming themselves. So using not a computer, but physical bodies, and having students to tell another student what to do. We like the Jetsons. Kids may not know what that is, but
no, I don't.
You know, the Jetsons was actually like a thing, like now, like the future, the cars floating, and
Rosie?
all of that was Rosie. All of that was supposed to be in like 2022 or 2020, right? Like,
I think so. I forgot the exact date.
It was either 2021, 22. Like that was supposed to be when we were supposed to be floating, like homes in the air and space travel between planets. But it was programming. You were telling someone else what to do. Getting kids to understand that we do that to computers.
Yeah.
No, we don't. It's not just that you have to take the screws off, change the RAM, understanding those
update
components.
it.
Not those things.
4 gigs isn't going to get you anywhere.
No, 4 gigs. That's funny. I remember my first computer had 4 gigs, but
I had two.
Oh.
Couldn't afford 4.
No, you learned how to upgrade your
Yeah.
But it's not about that. It's about what we build inside. Like we tell students and we tell adults, we are codependent or interdependent or codependent on our phones. Don't just be a consumer.
Be a creator.
Be the one who builds and makes, because that's where the money is.
Yeah.
And you can be on the front end, but understand what happens and how it happens from behind. And that's what kids are into. So the students you're talking about that built those apps, they're looking at how they can change their immediate future, like tomorrow or this afternoon. Let's use this app. I know a student built an app on understanding and identifying bullies, right?
Okay.
Like, well, that's something they can use in the next hour at lunch, right? Looking at how they can change and impact their world right then versus finding something that someone posted online.
Yeah.
Reading an article.
Combing through the millions of results you're going to get, seeing the validity of each one, the timeliness of it. I mean, if the site was updated back in 98, then probably not relevant.
Very much so.
Yeah, exactly. So, I agree with you 1,000%. Reminds me of when I used to coach baseball. My boys were in baseball back in Arizona, 2012, maybe 2013, and the first season they played, I was just a dad. I wasn't a coach or anything, but I would have to keep the pitch count for the team. And I was like, I literally would write on a piece of paper. And then when they got to like a certain number, I had to tell the coach because the pitcher only had X amount of pitches left, and then before he had to switch him out. And I thought, man, wouldn't it be cool if there was an app that I could literally just tap and keep a pitch count, and then also keep track of who pitched, because you had to have, I think it's like 48 hours of rest before you could pitch again, kind of thing. Mm-hmm. So I kind of went down the rabbit hole on how to build this app, and I ended up coaching the team. So I didn't. I gave that to another parent. Hey, I need you to keep the pitch count.
Right.
Yeah. But that was a right then and there now need that I needed.
Yeah.
That would have made my life easier.
Yeah.
Computer science.
And that's what is pulling in students, and that's what teachers are using to recruit students to learn. Because, when you, as you stated, you were given the myths of, you might not even realize that we're myths, right?
Yeah.
Of what you think computer science is. But in reality, when you actually look at those who work in the field, sometimes it's not that exciting. A lot of people who go into the field, they have expectations. A lot of students are like, I want to do video games. I want to make music videos. They see these things that they emulate, that they think this is
glamorous.
Yes, the
glamorous.
But every single corporation has a programmer.
Yeah, multiple programmers. And programmers to try to break the other programmer and find the flaws. Yeah.
Thus, cybersecurity. Right? So there's no way to escape it.
Yeah.
And there's so many different entities, because we're just talking about programming in general, but now there's AI, and there's lots that goes into that, and there's lots of conversations that go into that. The real struggle, though, even with all of this excitement and all of these changes and branching out and having more students to do this, is that we don't have enough teachers to teach it.
That right there is a real issue.
It is extremely.
If you are a computer programming teacher, you basically can pick what district you want to work at, what grade level, what area you want to live in. So
it actually goes further than that. So when you learn it and you understand it and you know what you're doing, you don't have to stay in the teaching profession. And if you're not treated, where you are teaching,
if
you don't feel like you're treated right, or the stress or whatever may have you that's causing you to feel like you don't want to teach anymore, you have alternatives to teaching. And we're trying to show the love for teaching students in this field, because that's what keeps them.
Yeah. There, high school that I used to work at in Arizona, they were 1-to-1, and they had this, right above the library, they had like a tech center where if you had problems with your computer, you'd bring it up. And the principal, I think it was the principal at that time, right when the school, because it was a brand new building, brand new construction, he wanted to hire somebody to run that tech center. He was like, no, we want people from Google. We want people who know everything that there is to know about this to
Did he
work.
know the price cap?
And they were going to start like at $12 or $13 an hour. I'm sorry, but if you know the ins and outs in that, no, you're selling yourself short by going to that school in that district and, literally taking screws off a computer and, reformatting hard drives.
I appreciate that he was reaching for the stars.
Yeah, I could see where he was coming from, but I can get a job at Google. I can get a job at Intech, at any one of these companies, and make way more, quite possibly remotely or coming into the office 2 or 3 times a week, with paid vacation and everything. That
when he should have been thinking about building that for students, it could have been student driven.
Yeah.
Versus, and you prepare students
to go to Google,
and you have it student run tech lab.
Yeah.
Where students, that's a class, and they actually run it through that class. Yeah. I know schools that actually do that.
Yeah, they have like the SWAT team or like their own geek squad kind of thing.
Yeah. But they're learning all of the different things that they need to learn within the courses as well, not just about repair, but also programming. And that is a difference. That is not the same, Yeah.
All right. Anyone out there who's watching or listening and they want some more information on what the organization that you're running and that, how can they find this?
It's really simple. It is csteachers.org. csteachers.org.
That information is going to be in the show notes, ladies and gentlemen. So if you're watching or listening and you're like, oh man, she just said it, I'm driving to work, or I'm on my jog, or I'm in the gym. Don't worry about pulling out your Apple Notes or anything.
Just search for CS teachers.
Yeah, and it's going to be in the show notes, so you can click on it automatically and be connected.
And we ask that everyone become a member. Becoming a general CSTA member is free, which is completely different than most.
My favorite 4-letter F word. It's free.
And we do offer a CSTA Plus membership for $50 a year, which is exceptional. So if your district doesn't know how to provide you professional development, join, because you can attend any professional development anywhere in the country from any chapter, not just in your local area. From that, which is extremely beneficial because you can receive credit for that. Like we can help support you in your professional learning needs.
You guys are seeing and hearing this, right? $50. You can't even get dinner for 4 for $50 anymore.
No, you can't.
That's 2.5 cartons of eggs.
2.5.
That's 2.5. Oh, man.
Let's hope when this episode comes out that eggs are still not at their price.
I saw a funny post of this dude. They kind of made him look like a drug dealer, but he was bagging up eggs. He had them in little bags all around the table. He said, I'm about to go get this bread.